Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So let's take a look on how to solve this relational algebra and SQL exercise. Let's take a look on the question. House rental company is a company that manages the rental houses as per allowed by the house owner. The company is using the database management system to keep track of the houses, owners and the renters. Below is the relational schema of the database. So we have house, owner, renter, and contract. Then answer the following question by using SQL and relational algebra. So Bara, if we have this SQL question, the first thing that you need to do is please draft the ERD of the relational schema here. Okay, so Bara, if we take a look, here, we have house owner, renter, and contract. Inside contract, we have house ID, owner ID, and renter ID, which is coming from this renter ID, owner ID, and house ID primary key. So by that, we know that we have a table contract over here. So this contract is attached to the house. It is also attached to a owner because of the owner ID, and they are attached also to the renter. Okay, how do we know? Because inside contract there are a lot of foreign key, house ID, owner ID, and renter ID over there. Okay, so house to contract, the common attribute between house and contract is the house ID. So we know the common attribute is house ID, contract and owner is owner ID, and renter and contract is renter ID. We put it this way because it is easier for you later on to know what is the common attribute for the joint condition. Okay, then we have another relationship between owner and house. Okay, one owner, many houses. Okay, owner and house. Okay, one owner, many houses. So we have here the owner ID. Okay, so now let's take a look on our first question. This is the draft of the ERD. Okay, the draft of our ERD according to the relational schema. Let's take a look on the question first. Okay, give the ID of the renter with a rent price more than 2,500 ringgit per month. So if you take a look, renter ID where we can get inside renter, we can get inside contract. Okay, with a rent price more than 2,500, price is inside contract here. Okay, now we know that they want the renter of the ID, so renter of the ID and the price. So this is the only things that they want. So it is coming only from table contract. So what we can do is we can project the renter ID. We also project the price. What do we want to select? Take a look here. Price greater than 2,500 from which table now? Table contract. Okay, so this is the relational algebra for question A. Then how about the SQL? Select renter ID, the price, from which table? From contract. What is the condition? Where price greater than 2,500. Okay, then we are settled with question number 1. Okay, so now let's take a look at second question. So each owner may own more than one house for rent. Give a total of houses that is owned by Hamis. Okay, owned by Hamis. So mean this is the owner. Hamis is a name. So this is an owner name. Okay, so this is an owner name owned by Hamis. So this is owner name. Then number of houses, total of houses that is owned. Number of houses we need to count. What makes house unique? House ID. Okay, so then you will know that how many houses is owned by this owner. Okay, so means now how many tables do we need to take a look at? Okay, this is house ID and this is owner name. Okay, So means we have two different tables. So means you need to join. Okay. So select owner name, count, house ID. Okay, this one coming from which table? Owner name coming from owner, or join with house, H. So if you take a look, owner and house is connected by owner ID on O dot owner ID equals to H dot owner ID. Okay, so what is our condition? The condition owner name must be equal to Hamis. Owner name is equals to Hamis. So if we take a look here, if we select a group function with non-group function, we must have a group by clause. Okay, group by clause. Which one is the non-group function? Owner name. Group by owner name. Okay, so now let's take a look on how to do the RA. Since we have a group by clause, we need to have this capital I. Okay, on the left hand side is the group by function, which is owner name. On the right hand side is the group function. The group function is count, house, ID. Okay, so then what do? We select owner name equals to Hamis. Okay, owner name equals to Hamis. Then all of this coming from which table? All of this coming from owner join with house. Okay, owner join with house. On what? On O dot owner ID equals to H dot owner ID. Okay, so we are done with the second question. Let's continue on the third question. Show the details of the owner and house which the contract will be expired in less than a month. Okay, so if you take a look, we want the owner, house, and contract. So we want three different tables here. Okay, will be expired, mean it will be expired soon, in less than a month. Okay, so before we go further into the question, let's take a look. What does it mean by contract will be expired in less than a month? Okay, so now we need to know that if we have a date minus another date, okay, if we have date minus another date, then we will have number of days. Okay, date minus another date, we have number of days. So if you take a look here, if older date minus a newer date, we will get negative number of days. If we have newer date minus older date, then we have positive number of days. So of course, the one that we want to find is positive number of days, because negative number of days means the contract is already expired. Okay, the contract is already expired. So what we want is actually newer date minus the older date, so that we get the positive number of days. For example, if it's less than a month, maybe less than 30 days. Or we can use months between function. Okay, months between function, less than one. If negative, we have less than one also. So that's why we cannot use less than 1 month. We need to use another function. But after this, I will show you. Okay, so the newer date here is the our end date. So that our end date minus our sys date. Okay, end date minus sys date. Then we will have the positive number of days. Okay, take a look. We will have positive number of days if we do end date minus sys date. Let's take a look at this example. Okay, for example, house number one. Let's say our sys date is on 10 May 2020. Okay, then the house one is 10 January 2019. So means 10 January 2019 minus sys date 10 May 2020. So take a look here. The older date, the older date, this is older than this one, isn't it? Older date minus newer date, we will get negative number of days. Okay, negative number of days. So means this one cannot be in our table result because the contract is already expired. How about house number 2? House number 2, we have 10 June 2019 minus 10 May 2020. Sorry, 2020 here. Okay, so this is we have all the date, sorry, newer date minus, this is June, newer date minus old date, we have positive number of days. So this is something that we want. But if you take a look here, the difference between this number is 29 days. So means it is within a month. So this one will be in our table result. How about the third one? 10 April 2020 minus 10 May 2020. This is our sys date, isn't it? Okay. Then we have negative number of days also. Okay, negative number of days also. So this one cannot be in table result. Same goes with 10 February. All the dates minus newer date. So we get negative number, cannot be in table result. So by right, what do we want? We want, if we have date minus a date between, okay, between 0 and 30. Okay, if you do this one, so between 0 and 30, this is a month. If you have date minus date. But if you do months between the newer date, which is the end date, and sys date between 0 and 1. Because if you do just months between sys date and end date less than 1, it will be wrong because the negative number of days will be included in this result. So that's why we cannot use less than 1 only. It has to be between 0 and 1. Okay, the months must be 0 and 1. So means will be listed in table result. It is within a month. Okay, so your mistake is most of you did months between, okay, months between end date and sys date less than 1. So this is would be wrong because the contract that will be expired will be in table result for this operation. Okay, less than 1, negative is less than 1. So it will be in table result. By right, we don't want to see that the house that is already expired. We want that will be expired in within a month. So of course it will do months between end date and sys date between 0 and 1. Okay, so that is our condition. So now let's take a look on how to solve the question. Okay, so first thing first, since we want the, sorry, this question 3. Okay, so now we want the details of the owner. So maybe we can select the owner ID, the owner name. Okay, then details of the house, maybe we can have the house ID, house name. Okay, and the contract will be expired. Okay, so maybe we take the end date. Okay, end date. So if you take a look here, okay, owner ID and owner name coming from owner, house ID, house name coming from house, and end date coming from contract. So now we need to join 3 different tables: house, contract, and owner here. Okay, so it can be from house contract owner or owner contract to house. Okay, so what we can do is inside our from clause, what we can have from, let's start with house. House need to join with contract here. House need to join with contract. C. On what is the join condition for house and contract? House ID. H dot house ID equals to C dot house ID. Okay, then contract need to join with owner. Okay, owner O. On what? What is the join condition? Owner ID. C dot owner ID equals to O dot owner ID. Okay, then what is our condition now? Where months between. Okay, months between. the end date and cease date between 0 and 1. So means we don't want negative number because negative number indicates that the house is already expired. We just want between 0 to 1 because it is less than the contract will be expired in less than a month. Okay, or if you do it this way, okay, some students do it months between months between less than 1, months between of this one and then is that less than 1. Less than 1 means we will get a negative number also, the expired house. Okay, so we don't want that. Okay, so if you want to do this way also, it can be accepted, which is end date minus a cease date. Okay, so it should be between 0 and 30 because we can say roughly we have 30 days per month. So if it between this 0 and 30 days, then it will be expired in less than a month. But to be exact, because not every month has 30 days, isn't it? So we use the function of months between. It will be more accurate. Okay, so now let's do the relational algebra for this one. What do we project? We project owner ID, owner name, house ID, house name, and end date. Okay, then what do we select? Months between the end date and cease date, between 0 and 1. All of this coming from which table? House. We join with contract. We join with owner. There's a lot of ways on how to do the RA, but this is the easiest to understand. Okay, then what is the joint attribute, joint condition for house and contract? We have house ID equals to H house ID C dot house ID. Okay, so for this one, C dot owner ID equals to O dot owner ID. Okay, so this is one of the ways on how to get the relational algebra for this question. So what if I said, let's sort the data by end date. Okay, sort the data by end date. So we need to add here order by end date. Okay, so how to represent order by in our relational algebra is by using T. Okay, so now what do we want to sort? End date. So just add T at the end date. So it can be anywhere. Okay, it can be here. Oh, sorry. It can be at the beginning. It can be at the bottom, right at the bottom left. It's up to you. But I will put at the top right here. Okay, end date. So means we want to order by this data by using end date here. Okay, so this is order by representation in relational algebra by using T. So let's take a look on the last question. Okay, the last question here we want find the details of houses with no renter yet. Okay, so if you take a look, okay, how can we know that the house has no renter yet? Of course, uh, if the house is inside the contract, the house is already have a renter. Okay, but if the house is not listed in contract, we will know that the house is not rented yet. Okay, so what we can do is we want to list all houses. Okay, all houses. Okay, all houses, even though there is no renter. Okay, so what we can do is we can do left outer join. Okay, we list, for example, we want all the houses details, isn't it? house ID, maybe we select house name. Okay, and okay, to make it clearer, we select also the renter ID. Okay, from house h left outer join with contract. Okay, C. Or what is the common attribute between house and contract? House ID, isn't it? H dot house ID equals to C dot house ID. Okay, so if we stop up until here, they will list all the house. Let's say we have this is house ID, this is the house name, and this is the renter ID. Okay, we will list all the house 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say we have all 5 houses. Okay, if there's a renter, they will put the renter ID. Let's say renter ID 101, 102. If there's no renter, it will be null. Okay, this is 103. So they will list this one. So we get all houses even though there is no renter. Okay, however, now what do we want to display? Only houses with no renter. So means we want only number 3 and number 4 here. So what is the condition? Renter ID is null. Okay, then we need to add over here. Okay, we need to add over here where renter ID is null. Okay, so we can delete the renter ID here. Okay, because we want only the details of the houses, isn't it? So now we have all the houses that has no renter yet. Okay, so how to solve this problem by using the relational algebra would be we project. Okay, we project house ID and house name. Okay, so what is our condition? Renter ID is null. Everything coming from which table? House, left outer join. Okay, left outer join. Okay, left outer join. Normally we can do it that way, or we still can do the normal join, but put some leg here. Okay, so left outer join with contract. Okay, so what is the join condition? H dot house ID equals to C dot house ID. Okay, so now we have finished all of our SQL exercises based on this question.